Hello everybody, welcome to another one. Today we're gonna be having a look at my Purple Luffy deck. I'm just gonna do a deck breakdown. I'm gonna explain my choices and how I see my lines of play, and then I'll jump in the solo versus self mode just so I can show you an example of a few of the curves. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, you might or might not know, but I did mention it before, that this is going to be the deck that I'll be playing this set. I think I've gotten with it to a place where I'm happy. Depending on how the meta will evolve, obviously I'm going to do changes, but for now I think it's pretty decent. Starting off, turn 1 Dawn or 2 Dawn play, Trafalgar Law. This is a really good searcher. It's also like a good jump card that you can use to swing into your opponent's searchers, especially if you're playing against one of those decks that rely on searchers that need to set them sideways, so basically turning them into pseudo blockers. Law is very good at dealing with those. Now, Law, while I do like to play him first, there is a very big risk with him, and it's actually twofold. One, it can only search cards with cost 2 or greater. So, for example, it won't be able to search my Gum Gum Jet Gatlings and, more importantly, my Gum Gum Giants, which is a bit of a risk. So if I don't have any Gum Gum Giants and I'm later into the game, I might not play Law, for example, just because there's a risk I might bottom deck my Gum Gum Giants. The other thing is, it's not able to search one of my best top ends, which is Charlotte Katakuri. So this entire deck is made to play around the Charlotte Katakuri card. And obviously it's not searchable because it's the Big Mom Pirates. And since this one and Lin Lin are the only two Big Mom Pirates that I play in this deck, there is no point in playing a searcher because there's high chances you just whiff off of it. So it's basically if I had a Big Mom Pirates searcher in, it would just be a waste of space. So yeah, Law, you generally play it 1 or 2 Dawn at the beginning, or if I already have my Katakuri or my Gum Gum Giant in my hand, then yeah, I just play it to get some other mid game or potentially end game cards or 2k counters. In terms of 2k counters, I play 10 of them. 4 of the Usohachi. I generally try to, as much as possible, to keep this in my hand. So when I need to use 2k counters to counter, I generally tend to keep this one towards the end and be like the last 2k counter that I definitely need to counter with. Otherwise, this is really good when trying to go for game. When you have 8 or more Dawn, it rests one of your opponent's characters at a cost of 5 or less. Most of the blockers are 5 or less that are being played at the moment, so it rests most of the blockers, so you can give you a path to lethal. The Sanji, you can play it out. I didn't really play it out. I think I only played it out a couple of times using the Monkey D Luffy when the opponent has had 2 or more Dawn than me. So if, for example, if the opponent is also a deck that ramps and he manages to ramp faster, you can, and he's at, say, 8 Dawn and you're at 7, you can play this Monkey D. Luffy at 7, Dawn -1 to use his on play, and then that will take you down to 6 Dawn, which means you're 2 or fewer Dawn less than your opponent, and you're able to play out the Sanji off of the Luffy, which is pretty good. But most of the times it's just a 2k counter. And this Ranosuke, which honestly I might look for a more useful 2k counter. I never ever justified playing it as a rusher to try to go for it, because it needs a Dawn to go up to get rush and to go up to only 5k. So that's 6 Dawn for a 5k swing. That means at best, if you're at 10 Dawn turn, you can do 7 with your leader and 7 with this. If you need an emergency rusher, which, I mean, I don't think it's good. I honestly don't think it's good. I think it's more useful as a 2k counter. So I might look at replacing this in the future. Now, other cards that I have in this deck, Bonkley. I think this is such an important piece in this deck. because it saves your life. So this offers a free ramp. You can play it. Doesn't matter if you're first or you're going first or you're going second. You can play it on your turn 2 because you can use your leader ability to take a life and ramp one. So if you're at 3 Dawn, it will take you up to 4, and you can play this, which will take you up to 5. Or even better, if you're second, you can take a life to go to 5, play this to go to 6 Dawn, which is, in my opinion, one of the more strongest turns. Because you can naturally play the Katakuri the next turn for 8 Dawn without doing any sort of, without taking another one of your life. So it basically saves your life. And once you start playing out these Katakuris, unless he has red rocks or ways to deal with it, which they normally don't have, unless they're like a ramp deck that also has access to very strong removal, they probably won't have something that can deal with an 8 cost, 8,000 power in turn 3. So yeah, this is a very strong card. Onami, I mean, I keep this one mostly for the, either when I'm playing against Yamato, because again, since it's a 4 cost, you can play it in your turn 2. Doesn't matter if you go first or second, so if you manage to counter out against Yamato, then you can potentially play this, because as you might know, if Yamato swings tall in their turn 2 and you counter out, probably in their turn 3 they're gonna add the banish and then swing tall again, so it's good to have some defense. So yeah, I play that, or just so I can draw cards when I'm in the late game. That's it, filtering out cards and basically drawing one extra card when you're in the late game. When you already have established like 3 big bodies, you can just play this on the 4th slot or on the 5th slot. Zorojuro, this is a really good card all around. This is a Straw Hat Searcher that can search for itself and for Gum Gum Giant and for my 0 cost event. So I do prefer playing this when I can. Even towards the late game, if I still need to find some answers, I much rather play this on the, I don't know, slot 4 or slot 5 of the board. Sangoro, I really like this card. It's so strong in the sense that it demands an answer from your opponent. And a lot of times they might do the more inoptimal plays just to get rid of this guy from your board, which is awesome, right? Because you basically use it to bait them into doing something that maybe they wouldn't be very comfortable with doing, or maybe it's not the most optimal thing and they have to like use their Dawn erratically or in a non-efficient way to deal with it. So yeah, I think this is a really strong card, and as much as possible I play it in. Like from time to time, for example, if I'm playing against Lucci and I am going second, in my second turn, when I'm at 4 Dawn, I ramp on life and try to play Sangoro just because it's a 5 cost, and it's more difficult for Lucci to deal with a 5 cost in his turn 2, or his turn 3, if he doesn't have since they don't have access to Ice Age anymore. I was missing the name of that card, sorry. So yeah, I really like this card. Obviously, it's best when played off of this Luffy Taro at 7 Dawn, but I mean, sometimes I do play it on itself because it is a 5 cost and it does demand them to try to take care of it because it brings you so much value if it stays on the field for a turn. Next, another card that I really, really like is this Sanji. 7 cost, 7,000 power. On play, you can return one or more of your Dawn cards from your play to your Dawn deck, and then this character gains Rush and rests one of your opponent's cost 6 or lower characters. This is such a strong card, especially when you're playing against opponents that you want to starve out, when you want to take control of their board. And you can't do that, right? Because playing in this deck type with Katakuri, this offers you quite good defense. It recovers Dawn at the end of the turn. It's a blocker that can swing, and you can use Gum Gum Giant without having any sort of negative effects, right? Because this guy ramps the Dawn back at the end of your turn. So it goes really well in this deck when going for the more control-y type and going for their board. I think it's pretty strong. And also his effect, you can return one or more Dawn. It does not specify how many. So for example, if you're in in the later stages where you already have your board established, you have cards in your hand that you want to use as defense, you can just play this down and against decks like Reiju, for example, that rely a lot on your opponent having having more Dawn than you can just use this to like de-ramp, I don't know, 4 Dawn or 5 Dawn or something crazy like that. Just so Reiju's abilities won't activate next turn, right? And they won't be able to play their Reiju to draw cards. They won't be able to play their 7 cost TCG and minus 2k something and then swing. So you can do a lot of these things to be able to stop them in their tracks, which is quite cool. It doesn't come up that often, to be honest, but I think it's quite cool. Yeah, Luffy Taro for swarming, that's pretty cool, because I think in any sort of combination, you can potentially just play this on turn 3. So by turn 3, you would have like 3 characters on your field, which is really strong. Katakuri, I think this is the MVP. This is how I made this entire deck. This is the card that I used as a basis for this entire deck. It's a blocker that can swing, and that at the end of your turn, it can restand, and then it also ramps you Arrested Dawn, which is so strong, because that means even if you use abilities, like if you're at, I don't know, say 9 Dawn, right? And you use abilities that minus a Dawn, or minus 2 Dawns, or things like that, next turn, you would basically have plus 3 Dawns, right? Because this one ramps you 1, and then it's your turn, and you ramp, you get 2 Dawn for your turn, for your next turn. So this is very, very strong. Lin. I use this because sometimes some decks are very, very fast, and I need to be able to slow down the game. And also because we have our leader ability, it also gives you a filtering basically ability, because you can heal one, but if you don't actually need the heal, like maybe your opponent was trying to go for your board, they're trying to control you out of and deny you resources, well, you can use this Lin to basically filter a card from your hand, right? Because you trash one, you play this out, you heal one, and then you can use your leader ability to take that card that you healed back to your hand. So basically it filters one, and then you put a 9k body on the field, which is, I mean, it's quite good. It's quite good. But it's mostly against aggro decks, because aggro decks tend to run out of steam pretty quickly. So this helps slow down, maybe put something that's non-counter to their own life, and then whittle their resources down to stabilize. And then since we have pretty good top end, then we win. One of our best top ends, 9 cost Luffy. This is an attacker. It has rush, and it also draws you a card, which again, very, very important. Again, you can use it as well as Sanji if you want to, because it allows you to minus 1 or more Dawn cards. So if you are going up against a deck that relies on having less Dawn than you can just, if this is like your, I don't know, your 4th card on the field, and you have enough defense in your hand and enough cards in your hand, you can just use this to minus like 4 Dawn or 5 Dawn, just to go way below your opponent, that way stopping a lot of his effects. One card which I think it's overlooked by a lot of people, and I like it. Like, I just like the card in general, because there's no other card like it. I think it's so cool. It has a really good design, but also because it has that surprise element. Because people, especially like in tournaments, they tend to adjust, right? They tend to adapt, and they tend to make their decks better, and based on their opponent's decks, right? So they tend to tech against certain things. So they might have like the what's it called, the Gamma Knife, right, that can deal with these Katakuris, maybe these Luffys or these Linlins. They might have, I don't know, blockers or chump blockers, a lot of chump blockers that counter this deck pretty well, because it kind of negates, each chump blocker can negate one of your swings, right? So you basically give one card to defend against a 9k swing or a 8k swing or things like that. But this card, this card has won me games, and it's also it's searchable off of both Law and Zorajuro. What I did not want to do, and most of the times I don't want to do, is if I find it earlier, unless I know it's like a matchup that I might need it in, like for example, Blue Purple Luffy, because they generally go very low on life and play like at 0 life with Dawn up and things like that. Then I don't take it because I don't want to give my opponent that information. I avoid take this card, and maybe I search for more searchers and then try to either cycle through my deck, because there is quite a lot of draw power in this deck, to be honest. There is quite a lot. Like Nami draws cards, Sangoro draws cards, this Luffy draws cards, this Gum Gum Giant cycles cards, right? Plus I got 8 searchers in here. So and the Lin Lin basically cycles 1 card. So again, there's a lot of draw power in this deck. So you can potentially, like if it's a more drawn out game, you can potentially go through your entire deck with the searchers and the draw power. So you can potentially see it again. But yeah, I love this card. I think it's so strong. It offers you, like, people would expect, like if you're at 10 Dawn, people would expect you to play this if you're in a position where you can go for lethal, right? So this is expected, and this is just a 10k swing for 9 Dawn. This, on the other hand, this is now you have multiple ways. The best way and the most optimal way, if you still have 2 life and you know you're gonna go for game, you play this, you minus the 10 Dawn after you swing with your board, obviously. Then you use leader ability to take 1 life, ramp 1 active. You use this Luffy's ability to ramp another 1 rested. Then do a 6k swing with your leader, pass the turn. Next turn, because it's a different turn, you can use your leader ability again. So you'd be at 4, then you can use your leader ability to take your last life, so you have 5 active done. And then, I mean, there's no point unless you think you'll be able to survive another turn. And you can do like a 10k swing and then a 12k swing, which is always better than just a simple 10k swing, right? So if you play this instead of this, you'd have the swing with your leader, where you can potentially put another Dawn if you still have life. If not, you still have like a 12k swing next turn and another 5k swing with your leader at least, or 7k swing with your leader at least next turn. That's if you don't have any sort of life to use. So yeah, it's which I mean, in 5k leaders, that's what, 2 cards extra plus another 2 cards extra for this. So that's 4 cards he needs to have more than if you just play this 9 cost. So yeah, something to think about. Like, I do prefer, I do really like this card. I don't think there's room for more than 1 of it. I think 1 of it is fine. Sometimes you might just end up thrashing it off of the Gum Gum Jet Gatling or off of the Lin Lin, or off of the Onami. So you do have like filtering. If you don't need it in that matchup, you do have like I don't know, 6 cards that can help you filter it, plus the 4, so 10 cards that can help you filter it out of your hand if you don't need it. But I do like it so much. It did win me a lot of games just through the element of surprise. Now that's the overview of the deck. Let me just go into this solo versus self. So let's use the Purple Luffy and let's play against the BP Luffy, since that's one of the biggest ones in the meta at the moment. So for a starting hand, against this, you want to see something that ramps, and you want to see your top end, especially your Katakuri. So while I don't have a play for turn 2, because this is a 5 cost and I'll be at 4 Dawn in turn 2 together with my leader ability, so it's not good. So let's mulligan, and this is even worse. Okay, so let's try out a game against Blue Purple Luffy. Now, this is going to be a bit awkward, and I'll try to ignore as much as possible seeing the opponent's hand and all, but it's going to be a bit weird, for me at least. So we do have top end in this hand. We do have a 2k, which is very important to have at least a 2k, because that's going to get you off of a swing. And then Gum Gum Giant is good, but then I don't like this as a turn 2 play. So I'd like to mulligan and see if I find a Zorajuro or a Bon Clay. Okay, this is better. We can also try to find the top end with Lob and with Zorajuro. So we have 2 extra searchers plus the 2 cards that we're going to draw plus the 2 life that we're going to take. So in the next, I don't know, 10, 12 cards, we should find some top end. So that's fine. So I'll keep this. And then for this Luffy, so we have a ramp. We're going second. So we do have the Thunder Bagua if we take a life to ramp. And we can do a double ramp afterwards. So I guess we... well, we don't have the Sanji, right? So let's mulligan. It's better. I have the Bunkley. Cool. Now, play the law. Oh, we already bottom decked the Katakari. That is not good. That's not what you want to see. Let's take a Sangoro. And then enter. We cannot use the card action. 2 down turn, we can't do anything. So enter. Now here, take a life. See our options. So our only option is to play the Zorajuro and not swing. So play this. Oh, we already have Gum Gum Giant, so let's take some top end and then enter. And here we have 4 Dawn. So we want to ramp, right? That's what we're aiming for. Now it would be good if we had double ramp, but we don't. So let's just play a Bon Clay and then swing 7. Cool. Now this 7 I would like to guard out of because I want to be able to ramp again next turn. So I'm gonna give him a 2/2 just in case I draw into a Zorajuro. And I don't. Oof. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that means we're swinging. So let's do a 6. Now I have a 1k, so I'm fine to give that 1k for that 6. And then we need 5 down for the Sangoro, so we're just gonna do a 7. Now I have a 2k, but then I'm going way too low on life, so I'll take this, I'll trigger, and then we play the Sangoro, enter. We're at 7 dawn. We already have the Sanji, and we can combine it with the whatever we find in life. Okay. What do we do on 7 down turn though? Guess we just play a blocker and swing. Yeah. Let's just swing 7. Now we get the 2k out for that. And then we play a blocker. I don't think we should swing with Bon Clay because this is just a 6k, so it's easy to block. 9 down turn. Now I want to establish this Katakuri as soon as possible. I think that should be the #1 priority. So I'm gonna do a 6, which he's gonna counter with the Zorajuro. I'm gonna do another 6, and I'm gonna draw a card off of that effect. Doesn't have any more counter, so he's gonna take. No trigger, and then I'm gonna do another 6. And then he's probably gonna block because he doesn't want to go to 0 so soon. And then we play this and enter. Now we can get arrested, and that's it. Now we're at 7, so we still can't use the leader ability, unfortunately. But we do have 9 down, so we can get Lin out. Or get a Katakuri out. Which I keep a Dawn up for Gum Gum Giant. I think Katakuri and keeping a Dawn up for Gum Gum Giant. Because we can still use Gum Gum Giant and they'll be safe, right? So just swing 6 into this. No blocker. Give this out. I didn't want a free block just so I can see if I can entice him to swing with the Bon Clay. Which is probably... Would he do it? I don't think he would, right? Then play Katakuri. Then end turn. 0, gain 1 rested. And then he also has Gum Gum Giant, Dawn. And then next turn he's going to be able to use his ability. So now we're in a bit of a pickle, right? Because now he's put us on a clock. As soon as he gets to his 8, 9 Dawn turn, then he's going to start drawing 2 cards per turn. and it's gonna be very, very difficult to try to deal with him. So we need to push as fast as we can for game. So this turn, I'm gonna go with oh, actually I should swing 6 with this. And then he's gonna give us a 1k, simple 1k. And then we're gonna do 6 with this, and he's gonna be able to free block this. And then we're gonna do a actually, if he free blocks, we're gonna do a 8 with this, right? Do we want to go for his board? I think it's gonna be worth getting rid of this. So now this cannot be used. This can be used, but do you want to use a Gum Gum Giant now? That would tell a lot, right? But we need to use it, right? Udon, maybe trash this Luffy, I guess, and then +4. Okay, so we draw some counter, and that solve, and then I think I still want to push for it, right? -1 Dawn, and then swing 10 into it, and he cannot defend it, so let it go. Now I need to keep a Dawn up, I think, for Gum Gum Giant. Although he's going to want to start building his board, but he can still swing 10 with this Bantam. So I might want to protect my board. So I'm just going to end it like that. Restand this and gain 1 rested. And then that's it. Use card action with Luffy. Now we're going to take 2k, obviously. And then I think we're going to play out Katakuri. So let's start placing on top. Let's take this. So we draw this, then we play out the Katakuri, and then we have 2 Sanjis that we can shuffle afterwards. I think we need to, right? I think we need to do that. Okay, and so we can swing 6 into this, and I think I'm gonna protect it with a 1k. Then we're gonna swing 10 into this. And I think I still want to protect it, to be honest, because I know he's going to need to play a 9 cost or 8 cost body. He's definitely needs to play something like that. So I think I'll do this. Then I do the Gum Gum Giant. Trash this. And then, yep, just so he can cycle some cards. And then he's going to play the Sanji into the Katakuri. And then end turn. Choose 0, gain 0 because it's already at 10. So now we're in a pretty good place, to be honest, right? We swing a 2 here. He's not gonna be able to defend that, right? Then we swing a 6 into face, which is easy 2k. Then we swing another 6 in the face, which is another easy 2k. Then we swing 8 into face, which this gives +3k, so I think it's just using this and giving +3k. And then we swing a 10 into face, which is just a take, no trigger. And I do want to keep the pressure up. But now we're in a pretty good place, right? We are in such a good place that I think we can actually afford to play this, right? We have at least 2 life here, so I can use this life to be able to ramp some more and swing taller with my leader. So I can do this, use card action, return all of the 10 Dawns, and then we can take a life to ramp 1 active, use this ability to ramp 1 rested, and then do a 6 into life, which is a 2k, and then enter. Take another life, ramp another 1, doesn't matter, and then just swing 10, which he blocks, and then swing 12, which he cannot do anything about. So yeah, this is how I play this deck. This is why I think it's so good, and I feel pretty confident when playing against Blue Purple Luffy. I think it's quite a decent matchup. Obviously, he's not heavily favored or anything like that. It's not like when you're playing, I don't know, Bello Betty or Zoro against it, but it's pretty decent, and it has good matchups in a lot of other decks as well. So hope you enjoy, and hope this was proven useful to you. If you have some, I don't know, some lines of play that you might have maybe played differently than I did, please do let me know down in the comments. If you have some changes that you do to this deck, just adding in, like, I don't know, different tech against different decks as well, please do let me know. I think this deck is pretty strong, and it has a decently good matchups in most decks. I think I just struggle a lot into Blackbeard. That's kind of the matchup that I'm struggling most against with this deck. But there's not a lot of Blackbeards in the meta, so that should be fine. So yeah, let me know. What are your thoughts? What would you change? What you'd keep? What things you like? What things you dislike out of this deck? And thank you very much for watching, and have a great one. Cheers!